Welcome to Inland Empire Alive, bringing you issues, events, and perspectives from throughout San Bernardino and Riverside counties. I'm David Brady, and on today's show, I'm at San Bernardino's Norman Feldheim Central Library, where Marcia Johnson will discuss Lawyer in the Library, a program that offers free legal consultations for low-income residents. That's today on Inland Empire Alive on Location. Well, I'm here at the Feldheim Library in San Bernardino to talk about a wonderful resource for low-income patrons offering free legal aid consultations. And here with me now is Marcia Johnson, the Deputy Director of Litigation from Inland County's Legal Services. Welcome to the program and welcome to the Feldheim.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about what Lawyer in the Library is. This is a national program. It's not specific to San Bernardino. It's not specific to the Feldheim. Tell me how what it does and how it got started.
So for us at Inland County's Legal Services, our program started in 2021, but nationally it is a combination of legal aid organizations coupled with local libraries to provide free legal services to individuals. So for us at Inland County's Legal Services, we have partnerships throughout Riverside and San Bernardino County. We offer services in expungement, consumer debt, housing, public benefits, and some simple estate planning. And it's really just a way to make sure that we are making legal services and access to justice as accessible as possible to people.
This may seem like an obvious question.
Okay.
Why libraries?
Libraries are a comfortable and they're a staple in the community. So I think they're easily accessible for a lot of people. Despite what resources you might have, they're less intimidating than walking into a law firm or a legal services organization. And people know about them. They don't always know where to find a law firm or where to find attorneys, but people generally know where their public libraries are and are able to access them and meet with us.
You use the word intimidating. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about what it can mean to suddenly be confronted with the need for a lawyer and you've never had one before and you don't know where to turn. What can that feel like?
Overwhelming. I think it's like that for a lot of people. So unlike criminal law, civil cases, they are not guaranteed access to attorneys.
Does that surprise people? I mean, they've grown up thinking, where's my one phone call? Where do I get my, lawyer?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people don't know what this process is like, right? And hopefully they won't ever have to. But when it does happen, it can be extremely overwhelming. You don't know where to get help. A lot of times.
You don't know what you don't know.
Right. And you also don't know, can I afford help? And so that's really where organizations like ours try to step in and make sure people have access to legal services despite any ability to pay.
Well, how important is that most people associate justice in America with being able to pay for it? How important is it to you to be able to offer this service to people regardless?
It's critical. I think it's a basic right. People shouldn't have to only be able to access justice or have someone represent them in court if they have the money to do so. So it's one of the reasons why I work for the organization I work for. I want to make sure that everybody has access to legal services and high quality legal services when needed, not just those who can afford it.
So walk me through a typical Lawyer in the Library session. These are private, these are one-on-one sessions. This is not, I'm coming to hear someone talk to a group. This is, I'm meeting specifically with someone about my situation.
Yes, absolutely. So they're not open like presentations or anything like that. We meet with people at various libraries. It's walk-in, so people don't have to worry about making appointments ahead of time. It's first come, first served. The walk-in, we have attorneys who staff the libraries. They're physically there and ready to help go through the application process, ensure if they're eligible for services, get some basic information about what legal concerns they have, and then if possible, we provide access or assistance right there on site.
Who are the types of folks you see accessing your services? Who are the types that come to the library and need help?
We see a lot of seniors in particular. I think it's just the same population that we serve through our regular program. So people with limited resources, limited means, people who really are in dire straits and need help right away. And so they hear about the program, they walk in and they're hoping that they'll be able to assist them immediately because that's usually how quickly they need help.
One of the things we were talking about off camera is often the imbalance between, let's say, a tenant who may not have legal representation and a landlord who's got a very slick, well-connected attorney who's handled many, many, many cases. How often do you come up against situations where there's that lopsidedness and you really are trying to kind of just even the playing field?
Literally every day. So our housing practice group is our largest practice.
How do you not get worn down by the system?
I think it's just a real desire to help people, wanting to make things fair and as balanced as possible, recognizing that the need is so great. So it's obviously not just me, it's all of our attorneys, our staff. We all kind of have that mentality and work together to try to provide as many people with legal services as we can.
What is some of the feedback you get from the clients that have taken advantage of your services?
Yeah, a lot of.
I mean, life-changing, I would imagine it can be.
Yes, I mean, it can be what seems like a fairly simple legal matter, but to somebody who's going through it, it has such an impact. So, for example, we had a senior client, and for ICLS senior means that you're 60 or older, and she had a very old conviction on her record. She came to us seeking assistance with record clearing because, as you know, these types of things can cause all types of issues with trying to access housing or applying for jobs. And she also expressed that she personally felt a level of shame because it happened so long ago and it wasn't reflective of who she was now. And so an attorney at our Lawyers in the Library program was able to assess and determine that she should be eligible for expungement. And just to see the client have that reaction, she was so grateful. She's really overwhelmed with emotion to know that she's finally going to be able to get some resolution with this legal issue. And not only that, but that ICLS will stand behind her in this and we're not going to charge her anything for doing so.
We'll have much more with Marcia Johnson, Deputy Director of Litigation for Inland Counties Legal Services, talking about Lawyer in the Library right after these messages.
Animal Services needs you. Do you love animals and are looking for a way to help the shelter? We have foster and volunteer opportunities year-round. We need foster parents who can advocate for their foster pets' adoption. The shelter has many dogs, cats, kittens, and puppies that could benefit from a foster home. Some animals, especially underage ones like Cole here, require more care than the shelter can provide. Most of the time, they only need a few weeks of TLC before they are ready to be adopted out. For more information, you can visit the Foster tab on www.sbcitypets.org. If you need help selecting a foster pet, email our foster team at fosterpet@sbcity.org. Want to say hi, Cole?
Well, I'm here with Marcia Johnson talking about Lawyer in the Library, a wonderful program that offers eligible low-income patrons access to one-on-one free legal consultations. Can you give me an example of the types of cases, the complexity of the cases?
Yeah, so generally our Lawyers in the Library program, we assist people with housing issues, so that could be evictions, unlawful detainers, things of that nature. We help people with expungements, so record clearing for old convictions and things of that nature. Public benefits, which can be pretty vast, so Social Security, CalFresh, which is impacted, CalWorks, unemployment. Consumer debt, so maybe somebody has a collection and they're being sued for that collection and they need help. As well as some elder law matters and some simple estate planning. So individuals who are 60 or older, they're looking to get a simple will, power of attorney, just to ensure that they are able to remain independent and age with dignity. We can help them with all of those types of things.
Now, you've been involved with this program for a few years now.
Yes.
What is the most rewarding aspect for you personally?
I think it's really being able to be out in the community and just knowing that we're making it easier for people to get to us and to access our services and doing so in their local places because we do serve Riverside and San Bernardino counties, but that's so vast.
Yes.
And it's not always easy for people to physically be able to come and meet with a lawyer. So knowing that we are trying to remove barriers by putting ourselves in the community in various places throughout the counties.
Are you surprised sometimes by the need that exists in the community?
I don't know if surprised is the word, but I mean, I think we know that it's vast, and even with all of the services that we provide, there's still more. There just is not enough legal resources in the community, unfortunately. But we just continue to try to do our best to meet the need as best we can.
There was a point we were talking about off camera again about that when people cannot defend themselves or assert their rights, mm-hmm. It can snowball into programs like hunger and homelessness. Can you talk a little bit about that? How there is this kind of domino chain effect where, one bad day can suddenly, ruin your life for decades to come if you don't have, those resources that help.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think a simple way of kind of putting it, so imagine someone who's receiving public benefits. Maybe they get Social Security every month and it's a limited amount, but it's what helps them pay for their rent and their food and transportation. And something happens and they don't get their benefit amount for a month. And now they aren't sure how they're going to be able to remain living where they're living or access food or things of that nature. That's one legal issue, public benefits, but it really can cause a huge level of instability for people. So ICLS tries to provide people assistance with those types of things. We also cross-reference. So if someone comes in with a public benefits issue, but now it's affecting their housing, we would be able to help them with both of those types of issues.
Can you tell me a little bit about how you can refer folks to additional resources beyond just what Lawyer in the Library provides? There may be cases where it's like you can point them to other services they may not know about.
Yes, absolutely. So if it's something that falls outside of Lawyers in the Library, but ICLS in general can help with, we will connect them with our intake team so that someone calls them, goes through the screening process, and then gets them help, get them to the right team to support them. If it's something outside of Inland County's legal services, we have referral lists to various other legal aid organizations, lawyer referral services and things of that nature where we can send people to get help if we're unable to provide that.
And this may seem like a basic question, but I want to get it on the record. Is there a cost?
Zero cost.
Zero cost. Mm-hmm. Nobody gets a bill later. Nobody gets a thing in the mail.
Not a single bill.
Nobody has to work off their debt by making copies in the office.
No, and that's one of my favorite things to tell people. We don't charge for our legal services. So.
And again, talk about this, access to justice regardless of your ability to pay and how critical that is.
To me, it's a fundamental need, right? Legal problems can come up for anybody. It doesn't mean that you committed a criminal act. It could be, hey, I lost my job. I wasn't able
help with paperwork.
Right. I couldn't pay this credit card and now they're suing me. I don't know what to do and I need help and I can't afford to hire a private attorney. So I think it's just a basic fundamental need for everybody. Everybody should be able to access legal services. Everybody should be able to access justice despite how much they earn, how old they are, et cetera. And so we're here to try to help bridge that gap.
Well, I want to make sure we let people know how they can take advantage of this wonderful opportunity. The website where you can find out everything that ICLS does is inlandlegal.org. But if you want to participate in Lawyer in the Library, you can come to the Feldheim Central Library. It's the second Tuesday of every month from 1 to 5 p.m. and walk-ins, as you noted, are welcome. What can folks do to prepare if they are planning to just walk in cold?
That's a great question. Any type of paperwork that they may have for their issue, if somebody sent them something in the mail, a notice, whatever it might be, anything that they can bring us will be extremely helpful for us to be able to evaluate what's going on with their legal issue and provide assistance as soon as possible.
And I hate to throw you a curveball, are there resources for folks with limited English proficiency?
Yes, actually, we do have translation services. So whether that be meeting with someone and needing someone to sit there and help translate or translating documents or things of that nature, we provide all of that as well.
Well, Marcia, thank you so much, and thank you for what you do for the community. It is wonderful having you on the show. Again, it is Inland County's Legal Services. The program is Lawyer in the Library at the Feldheim Central Library in San Bernardino, the second Tuesday of every month from 1 to 5 p.m. You can go to inlandlegal.org to find out all about it. Thank you again.
Thanks for having me.
Visit iealive.com.